to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Earl Cole here.
Griffin here. Thomas here.
Pat's here.
Richard is, all right. Meeting minutes approval of March 2nd, 2023. Any additions or corrections?
Austin Cool make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from March 2nd, 2023.
Griffin approved. Second.
Motion by Austin Cool, second by Griffin to approve the meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Pat's abstain.
Pets abstain. Thank you. Citizen input. Anything not on the agenda? Seeing none. Old business? Seeing none. Meeting summary since last council. Water and light. Tim?
Ben is here from in reference to the wastewater treatment facility, which is coming up
Below.
later.
All right. Special finance, insurance and personnel. Boy, actually, both of these are yours, Tim. 3-9 and tonight, 3-16.
Okay. The 3-9 was department head reviews. And that was done in closed session. Today we covered a number of items, most of which come on for the council tonight.
Below. Nice and easy. All right. Consent agenda items from February are all in your packet. If there are any questions, otherwise you can approve them in their entirety.
Cummings will make a motion to approve the consent agenda items below.
Austin Cool is second.
Motion by Cummings, second by Austin Cool to approve the consent agenda items. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Right, recommendations of boards, committees, and commissions. So item A is the water and light scope of services for the wastewater treatment facility and the Lum Avenue booster station. Tim, are you taking that, or is Ben taking that, or is Barry?
Ben is
Ben
taking
wins,
that.
he's up.
And it's actually a little bit further back in your packet, because I had it further down and we bumped it up and I didn't shift the paperwork up, so you're gonna find it a little bit
You're
further back.
Oh, I gotta find this, right?
That all
That is just this
Yep,
one?
Attachment A, memorandum.
Got it, all right.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so, and everyone does have a copy?
Yep.
Yes? All right, so last month we awarded the construction contract for the
Yep.
treatment plant. Our original proposal included design through bidding, so this is continuing on providing you guys services through construction. So the scope of services that was presented to the Utility Commission includes construction administration services. So we'll be acting on your behalf, coordinating with the contractor, reviewing submittals, project budgets, and things like that through the project. And then, as is a requirement, we'll have a full-time resident project representative on site throughout construction. We're anticipating him being there full-time through the duration of construction. So both of these budgets are for that. Construction administration services for a lump sum cost of $857,000. That'll occur over the next 2.5 years. That's about the duration of construction. And then resident project representative services for an hourly contract of $649,500. Both of these are included in the financing that you guys are taking out for the project.
These numbers haven't changed. Okay.
I can certainly go to more detail, but defer to you guys.
You just need a motion approving the scope of services. Thomas will make that motion to approve the scope of services for the wastewater treatment facility and the Lum Avenue booster station.
Motion by Thomas, second by Griffin to approve the scope of services contract. Does this have to be signed? I don't see any.
I have a copy that has signatures that I'll
Okay.
prepare for you.
Okay, perfect. Any questions?
So it says on the agenda and Lum Avenue Booster Station, is that included?
It's all lumped in, yeah,
Oh,
so
it
that project that you guys awarded last month includes both the treatment plant and the limit.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
But there's nothing specific in
No,
the
it's
scope.
all
It's
underneath
all
the same, so
together.
all of the construction admin and all of the resident project representative is covering both of those
Oh,
projects.
great, good, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles Cool, yes.
Griffin, yes. Thomas, yes.
That's yes.
Motion carried, thank you very much. Finance and personnel, 10-1 through, it looks like 10. There's a
Yeah.
bunch on here.
Like I said, everything from finance came to the council.
All right.
Uh, Thomas will make a motion to approve the January 2023 financial statements and the clerk's report, which is on file in the clerk's office.
That's a second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Pets to approve the January financial statements. Roll call?
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles Cool, yes.
Griffin, yes. Thomas, yes.
That's yes.
Motion carried. February 2023. Thanks, Ben.
Thomas make a motion to approve the February 2023 financial statements. General disbursements in the amount of $1,649,556.16. Payroll in the amount of $75,525.44. And the clerk treasurer's reports, which are on file in City Hall.
That's a second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Pets to approve the February financial statements. Roll call?
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles Cool, yes.
Griffin, yes. Thomas, yes.
That's yes.
Motion carried. Library parking lot bid. Tim?
Before you in your packet, you have 3 bid proposals with various dates for the library parking lot. The bid proposal that we met with the mayor, myself, the library board, and Mitch met last Friday at the library to go over those. And the proposal dated March 10th was the proposal agreed upon by all parties involved. And it's the library parking lot improvements in the amount of $160,085. $75,000 of that will be coming from city funding. The rest will be coming out of library funds. Thomas will make the motion to approve the library parking lot bid in the amount of $160,085.
Cummings, the second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Cummings to approve the parking lot bids. Any questions? Roll call?
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles Cool, yes.
Griffin, yes. Thomas, yes.
That's yes.
Motion carried. Fire department air compressor.
That was an information item only. The air compressor has been repaired and it cost less than estimated. That was a good thing.
FYI.
Fire department quote for tender 95. That, no action was taken on that, and the finance committee requested the fire department obtain additional bids.
All right, credit debit card.
I'm gonna throw
Back
that
at
to
Lana.
Lana.
We are in now, it was approved with
You need
finance,
the
local
microphone.
council, accepting credit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no one can hear you.
No one can hear it.
We need more than microphones.
Thank you. So, we presented 2 quotes, bids for offering a credit card service for the fire, parks, and for City Hall. Parks as far as for reservations, hopefully for events as well, police department for tickets, to be able to offer in person debit and credit cards, as well as being able to do it online. For obviously convenience, there is a fee that will be charged to the as a convenience fee or processing fee of 2.5%. That will be optional for the customer. If they want to pay cash, they certainly can do that, but there will be a fee. The city will not absorb that. The quote that I recommended was with Edge One. The fee per year will be $147, so roughly $12 a year. They are not charging us for the terminals to place at those 3 locations. We already used them for our ATM at the park, so we're familiar with them. So I think it's going to be a definite plus for all 3 departments to be able to offer that.
Fantastic. Any questions?
What's the name of the company, Lana?
Edge
One.
One.
Thomas make a motion to accept the proposal for Edge One for the credit card and debit card services.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Cummings to approve the credit card processing to Edge One. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Vote?
Aye.
That was a favor, aye, okay. All opposed? Motion carried. All right, Chad, City Hall, unless Tim wants to take it, and please,
I want Chad to
duct
take it.
cleaning quotes. Duct,
You there, Chad?
Yeah.
there you go.
I'm gonna let you take that.
Okay. I had 2 duct cleaning companies come in and give us quotes to have our burn stocks cleaned out at City Hall and the police department. Right now our ductwork is extremely dirty. I mean, we're changing the filters every couple months. They're coming out completely black, and it's causing stress on the blower motors on our furnaces. So I had to get them out. They're gonna clean the heat exchangers, the ductwork, and the A-coils for the furnaces, which would be the ducts on call. I think it was somewhere around 13,000 that I get to my recommendation.
All right, so we discussed this at finance, and we'll look at our budgets for building maintenance, or this may end up coming out of contingency. So it was approved through finance.
Thomas make a motion to approve the bid from Depths on Call for the cleaning of the ductwork. The amount of $13,560.
560.
$13,560.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Cummings to approve ducts on call. Any questions?
Out of contingency?
Well, Lana's gonna check what we have both in the budget for buildings between City Hall and the PD, see what those are. If we need to use it, I don't know if anybody's got anything else planned for those numbers. If not, then it would come out of contingency. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Austin, yes.
Harold, school, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
That's yes.
Motion carried. Do you still, did you bring the little thing back? There, you got it. Facade grant approval procedures.
Procedures. This was discussed at finance. There were questions about the actual procedures on approving the funding once the person has submitted a grant application. And it was decided to forward this to the CDA for further review.
Yeah, he just was questioning the actual approval portion of the process.
The process.
So just kind of getting that laid out a little bit more clear. All right, so that's just being sent to the CDA. But then we also have in here, due to the current setup of the process, Luminous Roads facade grant application is included.
Right. Finance reviewed this application. It's for Luminous Rose facade grant. It's an interior grant. application. They ground off the existing flooring and exposed the terrazzo floor from the 40s and 50s.
Cool.
And the pictures are in the packet. Floor looks really nice. They are requesting a grant amount in the amount of $5,000. Finance made the recommendation to council to approve that, so Thomas make a motion to approve the luminous rose facade grant application in the amount of $5,000.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Cummings to approve the luminous road facade grant. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Charles, yes.
Thomas, yes.
That's yes.
Motion carried. Garbage rate increase. Jim?
The utility did a rate study as to what it charges the city to put the garbage fees on the water and light billing. To date, it's been 50 cents per customer, and this is based off of a rate study from 10 years ago. So there hasn't been a rate study since then, and we've been paying this fee for $10, or for 10 years. They just did a recent rate study, and that amount came to $1.35, maybe $34. $1.34. After discussion, it was decided that we would go after a increase of $1 to offset the cost for the billing by the utility to have the garbage fees on the utility bills. So Thomas will make that motion to increase the fee by $1.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Cummings to approve the increase to $1.50 on the garbage rate. This will be effective?
No,
No,
Increase.
increase it to $1.50. We're gonna increase it $1.
Oh, you're increasing it an
$1.
entire dollar, so it's
Yeah.
$1.50, not a
$1.50,
dollar.
not-
I misunderstood that at finance. Thank
Okay.
you for that clarification. So the increase is $1 to $1.50. And this is
No.
the
we're
increase is
increasing, what, the current charge will be increasing by $1.
correct, yeah.
Right.
So the
And it's
total
50
fee will now
cents.
be $1.50, yeah.
It's more than that.
No,
No.
their billing is 50 cents.
Right, but we're talking about what we're gonna increase the garbage bill to, that the water and light has. So we're currently charging,
50 cents.
50 cents. So this is that
This is the
separate.
billing that
No,
the utility
no,
pays.
we're currently charging the homeowner,
Oh,
is it
plus,
$9.50?
plus,
Correct.
yes.
So we're gonna charge them $1 more, so it's gonna be $10.50,
Okay,
is what I'm trying to say. So
Actually, it's
that-
$12.50
Okay, I'm sorry.
currently.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We'll start over. The
Okay,
current garbage rate on your bill is $12.50. It includes 50 cents that the utilities was charging. So now we're adding an entire dollar, so that is a $1.50 from the utility, but it's $1 increase on your bill, so it'll be $13.50.
okay.
okay,
I think we got it.
You got it.
It's a team effort, but we got there.
I'm proud of
All
us.
right.
Challenging my
$13.50.
memory again.
And it's still happening July 1st.
Effective July 1st.
Yes, yes. The rate increase from the garbage company does happen every year. The unfortunate thing is we've been hit with so many surcharges that weren't planned. So this will be reviewed again in August, knowing what the next increase is, and we'll kind of see what it goes from there. But we don't want to keep increasing it if we don't have to, so. All right, there, we got it. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
That's yes.
Motion carried. All right, Waterloo Parks, we are finally on to someone besides Tim. Resolution 2023-11, Park Commission accepting a grant from the Greater Watertown Community Health Foundation for a TRP play structure. Come on up and get a little speaker.
Yes.
We got a grant from Greater Watertown Community Health Foundation. It's not exactly $75,000, I think it's like 73,000 something, for TRP play structures, that is talk, read, play. It'll be a new playground structure that will go in the lower Fireman's Park area. It'll be just off of the bike trail, just to the south of where we put the new play structures in. It's fully funded. The GHWCF pays us, and then we pay Gerber Leisure. The only thing that we're in charge of at the end is just doing landscaping around it. So,
Any pictures over in?
we do have pictures, they just weren't added to your packet. One of the structures is a nook, and one of the other structures is a little tiny fire station.
I can send you some other fun things, yeah.
Cummings will make a motion to approve the resolution 2023-11, the Park Commission accepting the grader.
Austin Cool, second.
Motion by Cummings, second by Austin Cool to accept the grant. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, new business, and Everett is here for this. 2023-12, approving the concept of the downtown master plan. So, if you wish to chat, grab a little speaker. You should have a copy of a non-draft.
Just got a little bit of a question, so we don't have any questions. This is the final draft of the plan. That's in front of you, so this is throughout the full planning process in September, and this is the final document. There are some pictures that do need to be touched up, as far as maps go, but that's just gonna take time to coordinate to get those things, accomplished, so.
So basically from here, we've had discussions, we had a meeting last week, got everybody in to kind of talk about this. So we fully understand the concepts, we certainly understand everything that the team put together. And we absolutely like some of the ideas, but some of them may not be practical, but we are going to work on that. So basically, if you look at page 28, and we have the representative from the veteran group here, they absolutely liked this idea. There wasn't anybody that wasn't in favor of making this improvement from what we have now. Part of the reason why this is being addressed also is because we've got a wall that's the great leaner downtown. It really wasn't done quite right, and we know it's gonna have to get fixed. We've also had lots of problems with plants dying because it's right there on the snow and the ice and the salt and all that good stuff. So we know it needs an improvement down there. So from here, we discussed what other ways we could possibly make this work without losing the concepts and the ideas and, you know, all the effort that the citizens put into this. So, I talked with Bria, got an email from her, from SEH, and there's another lady that can do some of these concept drawings. So we're gonna talk about it a little bit more just to find out, do we want it exactly like this, or do we want to shrink it a little bit? We're wanting to keep that concept and the ideas, but then we have to get literally with the engineers and make sure what's gonna work properly. Because this was more of an idea on paper, but not necessarily thinking of all the grades and the scales and the water and the light and all the other things that go with it. So basically, it's going to get tweaked. So what you're approving tonight, more or less also thanking everybody for all their efforts to talk about this. The other thing is the parking lot in the back, which should be in here. Is it the last? Actually, I think it's a small picture. I know there's a bigger rendition of it. So page 38 at the very bottom. The parking lot definitely needs to be fixed. We've been talking about this for years. We've got the great lunar back there. So even the way this is drawn up isn't exact. Page 38? Yeah. So this isn't exactly drawn to scale because it doesn't have the driveway access to the property next door. So that's a unique thing that we have back here. We also know we do not like the in and out that we have. It's very narrow. Chad has a lot of issues. But just the fact of cleaning it up, if we can possibly get some sort of a walkway down there, we may, depends where we can move it. But again, just knowing that we have to do engineering designs on that of what's gonna work and make sure we have all the proper parking. And then the South Monroe concept, that again is a concept. Right now, obviously, we don't have money for all of this, so we will certainly be looking at grants. Everett and I and Lana and Jeannie, we've met with a couple of different people to talk about this stuff, so we will be going after what kind of grants we could possibly get to make some of these improvements happen versus all tax dollars. But the South Monroe may end up being something that's pushed down the road a little bit, depending money, and then of course we have to design it to make sure it's gonna work properly with the elevations and the snow and all that other good stuff that's down there. But we'd love to have that walking bridge across Taylor to connect to that, to keep our little path concept, walkability throughout the community going, so. A lot is on here, a lot to be done, not a lot of money, so, you know, we're always willing to take money. Hopefully we can make it work. So, you're not necessarily approving that this is 100% exactly what we're gonna do, because we know there's more work to be done. This is based, gathering information from everybody, understanding what the community is looking for, and making sure people like the veterans were on board with fixing what I think they paid for it, didn't they, Gabe? Did they pay for that memorial that get put up?
It was well before my time, I would guess so.
I think they did, yeah.
I believe they did.
And then, of course, Gabe's gotta be involved because it's one of his parks, and we do have a bathroom there that we really never used quite openly, so things to be done at the Monaco Business Center too, so.
So I do have a question, so when it says most voted for design options and then least voted, these are what are being voted on? Does that mean that we're gonna be putting in a splash pad, or is that
No.
just an idea?
Right.
This is support.
The splash pad actually got taken out at the last meeting we
That's
had.
why, it didn't say anything about it, so
No.
when I was reading it, when
It's-
she sent it over.
It's not as drawings
Okay.
anymore, because it just wasn't practical, there wasn't really,
That's what I
and
thought.
talking to the whole team that night at the trailhead, I said there really wasn't, in favor of that. Maybe something pretty, but again, it's the cost, the maintenance, the running of it, the structure, you know, perhaps that can be used somewhere else.
Okay.
But the rest of the ideas, so, that was just what those people all voted on when they were given drawings to look at and specs to things, you know, so that's not saying they didn't like a mural, they just didn't like that mural.
Okay, okay.
You know, same thing with the lighting, you know, we kinda like some lighting, but they didn't like all the, I don't know, colorfulness of it or something, just some of the design, so. And again, so it wasn't that none of that can be there, it's just, we gotta come up with a better plan, so. As we can get moving and actually doing something with this, I would suspect we're gonna, you know, let people know, bring your ideas. Hopefully some of the people on the steering committee can still join in, so that we're not, you know,
Okay.
completely changing it by any means.
Still have a question on the bandstand. I see it's coming out of Veterans Park
That's what's in this drawing, yes.
and it would be moved down to the parking lot off of South Monroe Street.
Chances are it would be more demo, there's really not much to move.
So we're not gonna rebuild it, or we are rebuilding it?
That's part of the conversations we still have to have, what we can do with that bandstand. I mean, it needs fixing now, I mean, it's the peeling and the ceiling and all that. And it's a very large structure that honestly doesn't get used a whole lot. So these were the conversations we were talking about. You know, Gabe doesn't really rent it, but people use it. So is there another way we can still use that space without necessarily having that bandstand? Part of my idea, in my head, I still want something covered. Is it just because I'm used to seeing it covered and can't think of it another way? So one of the things that I had asked SEH, they had sent us over, and I copied you guys on that, they had sent us over a proposal, but it was basically redoing this entire thing. No. All I really want is for us as a community to throw back some ideas of maybe a different way to lay it out that's gonna work better for plowing and snow and grass and, you know, all that good stuff. And so I just want an idea to relay out that plan. I don't want the engineering done on it. I just wanna see the concept so that we can bring it to everybody with at least maybe 3 options. This one and maybe 2 more, but with input from Chad and Barry and Gabe and all the people that basically use it.
Sure.
That's okay, Jeannie, go ahead.
I read somewhere in there that said that the main purpose of this is so that we're able to apply for Main Street program grants or some kind of grants.
Yes, there's
Okay.
definitely grants to be had, right? And you need some sort of a document, study, some of the conversations we've had with people that investors want to see the city investing in their future. So we've done the work, we've done a study, we've let the community speak, whoever wanted to be involved, and this is the ideas that they came to. It doesn't really talk about, the facades on the buildings, we're not mandating everybody's gotta have the same brick and the same color signs and all that stuff, but we're trying to beautify the downtown a little bit more.
And this hasn't been to CDA, correct? No.
Next week.
The steering committee, I had some questions
Sure.
on that. Now, is this, I guess there just wasn't a lot of explanation as to what the steering committee was, but it sounds like they were part of the people that put the plan together or participated in the gathering of information, or?
Yeah, more or less, it was the public engagement aspect of it. So it's not all people attended every meeting, but, intermixed throughout the planning process. We had 5 public engagement. There's 4 that it shows in that, 4 or 5. We had 1 in Wiener Project, and there's 4 additional ones after that. And yeah, that's when the steering committee, took part in the planning process.
Okay, so they helped build this.
So they gave us the tangible stuff to be able to put in the plan, yes. So the concepts, the voted on designs, the voted on pictures, things like that, the ideas of the plan came from the steering committee. And the consultant team just geared the ideas to form what you see in the plan.
I noticed Steve wasn't on here. Wasn't he part of this?
No.
No, he wasn't. So were there any community members?
Yep. Yeah, so you have the list of steering committee members
Yep.
on there currently.
I'm just wondering if there were any, like, people that were not connected to a bank or a business or,
Yeah, I put their professional standings on there, so there are community members on there, so Bank of Sun Prairie, individual, she's new to the community. Otherwise, you have, Carrie's a member of the community, Kay Radloff, member of the community. Off the top of my head, I don't remember exactly who's on the steering committee list, but yes, you still have members of the community on there.
okay, but nobody that was like not representing a business?
Yeah, there were people.
Sure, and
Jennifer Zimmerman.
you're pointing at you were there.
Yep,
Chad was
cameraman Chad was there to one of the meetings.
Yeah, so there was a steering committee,
Uh-huh.
but it was open to the public.
Oh, okay, got it.
Maureen's not listed on here because she wasn't on the steering committee, but she was there.
Okay,
So people could show up,
okay.
anybody could show up, so it's
Yeah.
in the paper, it was public, so anybody that wanted to be there, but some of these people, he's mostly just listing like who they work for, like Sam is listed on here, but Jennifer Zimmerman attended quite a few of them. So they're, part of the that group had representation there.
And there's an entire page that you can't even read, right? You know that?
Blurry,
Okay. I was like squinting my eyes out, I could not.
there was one of them, I think, was.
Snapshot of the board.
And I had a
Yeah, it was
specific,
snapshot of the board, you can't read it.
I had a more specific question on the demographics page.
Which number, page what?
It is page 13.
Okay.
So it talks about community health, like the last paragraph says, because of this, community health is a continuing concern. What is community health? Because it says the community needs additional and better education on how to live an affordable, time-effective, healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, so that's the whole idea of the placemaking aspect to add to the healthy lifestyle. So give more livability of placemaking in the downtown region to add that sense of place to, I can send you more information on what placemaking does for health.
Yeah, placemaking I know is a little bit different than I think what you're describing, so I would guess and it didn't say placemaking, it said affordable, time-effective, healthy lifestyle. And then in the mitigation efforts, it says that the plan is gonna address many of these concerning demographic issues, and I guess I wasn't sure about what the concerning demographic issues were.
Okay, I can clarify that more. I can type up something and send it to you after, get more clarification on that.
Yeah, I mean, if it could possibly go in the plan, I think if this is gonna be a
Yeah, that's
working
absolutely
document.
fine.
and-
Yeah, I think, you know, I mean, I'm kind of big on definitions, right? I want to know what you mean by, you know, what you're saying, community health. What does that mean? What does that, you know?
If I may interrupt, that, I think I can shout. I too had that marked, page 13 for demographic. And part of my concern that I was going to bring up was we have a large group of senior citizens. Some are in the new assisted living facility. That is wonderful. And I think we have to take into consideration our demographics, the senior citizens. Also, I plugged in the current census of 2023, which was not quoted, was estimated in the packet. And it was interesting to me that, get to it here, the average population is, does anybody know it from the city?
3,540.
The
Thank you.
population number?
3,540.
Yeah.
Do you know the average income?
No.
Single or family?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Just says average income, it didn't say family, so it's 74,380. This was surprising to me. I had a feeling, because I volunteered at the food pantry, the poverty level in the city is 23.8%, living at the poverty level and below. Another interesting demographic is we have a big rush, or big margin of 3- and 4-year-olds. St. John's School has half of their school population, excuse me, 3rd and 4th graders. I would imagine at our grade school, I think it's open to 3-year-olds, that also, that is a large population. Therefore, in this study, we have to plan for young people, seniors, activities in the park and other ways, bike trails, etc., for our population. Thank you. So, family activities. People want to walk. I've heard that in one meeting that I went to.
And we have walking
Right.
paths on here, so
Yes,
the point you're trying to
I know,
get
and
at,
that's-
Maureen?
That should be stressed too.
Okay.
So I'll just, and then I'll leave more for you to finish, and I have more to add too, but I'll let Jeanette finish.
Well, the only other thing that I wanted to ask about was like ongoing projects. So I get to the end of the plan and it says implementation of conceptual plans, which is awesome and all really great. And I mean, the whole plan is really great. But it doesn't really say like what's next. It really didn't have like a, I don't know, I feel like it needed an ongoing statement, like what's gonna happen in the future with this plan, and, you know, it seems like this was the end, you know what I mean? And I don't think it's that way, right?
No, it is not.
No.
It's up to us now to do something with it. So
Right.
part of their goals were to talk with the community, see what they wanted. We know we have to do something with this parking lot. Walkability, parking, all that good stuff is all a part of it. And then they redesigned, so what the community kind of came up with was that 4 corners, redoing that to make it a more usable space, and it, you know, it has to be better than what it's doing right now. And then they talked about making more use in the dead end, which is just parking.
Right.
So from here, it goes to us. It's kind of like your comprehensive plan. We don't just create it and throw it away. We still talk about it. That's why Everett's here in economic development. We want to keep moving these plans forward. So part of what we're working on now is A, to kind of come up with a better design that we can all agree on for that 4 corners. And then B, how are we going to pay for it? Where are the grants? We've met with people and talked about, we've got everything in the community, from paths to parking lots, you know, to these projects, everything that's going on. Mitch is big on searching grants for us, walkability and things like that, which can also go towards some of our paths, safe walkways. So,
Yeah, and there's a
This
whole
is-
list of like really cool stuff, like
Yeah.
establishing a committee, the garnering public support, you know,
Yeah.
this kind of list of stuff, but it doesn't really like say, I guess maybe I'm just so simple-minded, I don't wanna make any assumptions.
right, but it really wasn't up to them to say, okay, CDA, this is 100% you now, or planning commission, this is you. It
Yeah,
really
right.
comes to the city council to start having these discussions, budget discussions,
Okay,
things
all right.
like that.
That's kind of what was not clear, like
Yeah.
what the purpose
Yeah,
of the plan was,
Yeah.
besides the thing I read about enabling us to be able to
Yep.
apply for Main Street program grants,
Right,
and things
right.
like that, so.
Isn't a big part of this also trying to get businesses to be excited about coming to Waterloo and seeing that we're growing the place? So I think it's good to get in front of people that wanna invest with Waterloo too, right?
Yeah, and
I mean,
that's
this
in
is our
here. It
next
talks
step.
about-
That's another next step.
Yeah,
I would
it
say.
talks about entrepreneurs and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
that
It's
would be
just-
another
It
next
just
step.
feels like there's this overarching something, the motion of it, right?
right.
Is kind of missing. To me, that's kind of the way
Well,
it is.
I won't let it fail.
No,
I
no,
can tell you
no,
that.
it's awesome, it's gonna be an awesome tool and
Yeah.
it's a great thing.
Yeah,
I just was trying to find, think of things that kind of hit me
Yep.
to improve it, because it's absolutely beautiful and it's, gonna help us, I'm sure, for decades to come.
So we need to approve this plan to go to CDA and then continue to make improvements on
Correct,
it.
right.
So it's not all said and
so
done.
we've already had one meeting with staff to talk about things that, we liked, what we didn't like, our concerns were, and then we're gonna meet again, and we're gonna talk some more, and then hopefully I can get a quote back from, I think her name is Caitlin, so she understood what I was getting at. I didn't want her to do this whole big project all over again. I literally just want somebody to Photoshop me a couple of photos with the tools that she has. And then from there, once we can agree as a community, because that'll be public for everyone to agree on, and then that's what we start working towards, is that plan. Yes,
Okay.
nope, Wes.
So, one thing I want you to do, keep in mind as you're moving forward with this project, the parking lot down here at the end of South Monroe.
Yep.
And the bank parking lot on the other side of the river are basically the only two accesses we have if we have to draft water out of that river.
Ooh, I didn't know we did that.
We do
I
that.
did not know.
So keep that in mind as you're moving forward with this
As far as
project.
having access for the trucks to.
Back up to the river and draft the water right out of the river.
Did not know
Because
that.
when Water and Light took down the tower, was it last year? We, basically, if we had any fire in the city, we were gonna be drafting out of that river. And those are basically the only two locations that we can get close enough with the fire apparatus to draft that water.
On that low end all the way down.
Down at,
So if we put a bridge or something there, which won't necessarily block you, we just gotta make sure that there's space for you to.
there's spaces that we can get close enough to that river so that if we have to draft out of that river, that we're able to do that.
Is it
Is it
Taylor
we-
Street? Is that the name of that?
Yep, Taylor Street that comes down the other way, which basically is in the
Right.
bank parking lot in South Monroe. Because if we have something like the community building or something like that, I can guarantee you, we're gonna be drafting out of that river.
Certainly. Did not even know that. Thank you very much for that. All right.
Okay, can I start?
You got a minute, Maureen. What else do you need to add?
Okay. Well, first of all, I have more than a minute, but I'll try to condense it. I have been to 2 of the 4 public meetings. This report has used, it looks like, I've forgotten what page it is, the Waterloo Area Historical Society was part of it. I was never invited to any of the meetings. It says in here like it implies I was. I went because I'm interested in the landmarks that we have
Okay.
here, and also preservation of downtown. I think there are good points, but I think there are a lot of points that should be discussed. And I would think it comes first, but you know better than I, comes from the authority committee to this, but now this goes to that. So I appreciate your explaining all this, because I thought the way it read in the minutes, you were making a final decision to accept this.
Yes,
Are
we
we?
are, we are,
To accept it.
yes, that's why it's on the
But
agenda.
still, it'll be up for discussion, different parts of it.
We will be discussing it as an ongoing project, yes. It's not, we're not done and that's it forever. We're going to keep discussing this.
The idea
It's
is
a
to-
working document,
The idea is to have it on CDA agenda every month.
right?
So,
Okay.
Community Development
So it
Authority.
is accepted that the bandstand will be moved?
No,
No.
Maureen, I already said that. I said,
Alright,
this
well,
is
you
a
said
no,
it's gonna be
this is a
discussed.
concept. We're not 100% positive we're going to move or remove the bandstand. We are going to, as a community, as our group,
For
discuss
different
it.
sections of the
Correct.
complete. Thank
Correct.
you. All right, I think the best part of this is the aerial view that is presented in the first couple of pages.
Mhm.
And I would like, some of the other graphs are very mixed up. The letters A, B, C, 1, 2, 3 are so fine. I'm glad I have a copy, because on my screen, I had to use a magnifying glass
Sorry, it's a layout.
to find out where
That's fine.
everything was.
Anything else?
Then, the quick facts on page 30, I thought were a bit hard to read. 1, 2, 3. It compares it to the vision statement, and as you all know, we have a vision statement from 2008. But it does state, because of the added population that I quoted, we do have to make Waterloo a better place for the whole families to live in. The framework of the meetings I attended were the first 12 selected people that were there, 10 admit were there, 2 were absent. The second one,
Why are we giving
Three.
these stats? Why are we giving this information?
pardon?
I'm trying to understand your point. What is it you want?
I'm saying that of the 12 people that were supposed to be there for the 2 meetings, we only had 3 at the second meetings.
Okay,
So Alder Pets asked how many were there. We did not have a lot of public people there.
we can't
had
change
3
that now.
other people. It was put in the paper, the public is invited.
Correct.
So I went, because as I said, I'm very
That's fine,
concerned
anybody could have
about
gone.
that. So,
Yes.
I believe that demographics on pages 20, 28, 33, 36 are very hard to understand. So I think we need to look at those again. The demographics were the, Alder Pets mentioned, the 1 and 13 income, which I talked about, are very close, so you have to look, the colors are very close. So I looked it up on the web and got the exact numbers. Then, I think that you're going about it fine, the whole plan, but I want to be sure that different parts of the plan will still be discussed.
This entire
some-
document, Maureen, I'm gonna have to cut you off, this is dragging on. This entire document will be worked on and discussed as we go through it. It's going to the CDA next. I'm not gonna have anybody go back and increase the font size, that's just not gonna
All
happen.
right, thank you.
So we're gonna move on. If there are no other questions, Resolution 2023-12 is approving the concept plan of the downtown master plan.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2023-12.
Austin Cool, second.
Motion by Pets, second by Austin Cool to accept the resolution 2023-12. This will be going as a working document to the CDA and the rest of the community. All in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, item B, alcohol, beverage, and tobacco license, IMARC.
So this is for iMark, the BP owners. It's the same, it's gonna be the same agent as before. It's 2 brothers that own it. They're splitting their corporations apart. So it's just a new corporate name, but it's the same agent. Dennis and I talked about it earlier, so, it's basically the same, it's just one of the brothers. Together, and now they're splitting.
All right,
Beth will make a motion to approve the application for 300 West Madison Street.
that's the address. Yeah, there you are.
Also,
I'm Mark.
second.
Motion by Pat, second by Austin Poole to approve the alcohol and beverage license for Imar. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, item C, Kelsey Hudson. She was actually going to try and come, but she had a conflict tonight, so she couldn't make it. So Kelsey's actually one that was at the downtown master plan committee meetings and has been in here before, and she is a resident of Waterloo 2 years maybe? Something like that? And she had asked to, what she can do to be involved. She wants to be more involved in the community. And Leanne Woods, who's been on the CDA, unfortunately, she's had a lot of work conflict and she can't make it, so she has stepped down. So we are going to appoint, or I'm asking to appoint Kelsey Hudson to fill her unexpired term. And she will actually be at the next meeting on the 21st.
I'm going to make a motion. Do I need to make a motion?
Yes, we do.
Okay, to appoint Kelsey Hudson to the CDA to fill the term for the Woods.
That's a second.
Motion by Cummings, second by Pets to approve Kelsey Hudson to the CDA, filling in Leanne Woods' terms. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, and I want to thank Leanne for her time, it was very much appreciated, but we know how these things go, and sometimes life gets in the way, and you just can't do much about it, so. Any future agenda items or announcements? Dave?
Free Morgan, April 1st.
April
Tickets.
1st. So that is a pre-buy, can you get them day
You
of?
can't get them at the window or
Is
that
it-
day of, but they are $15 day.
But could you sell out of them before that?
We could,
That's what someone asked me.
we
Okay.
could sell out of them before April 1st.
Okay. And that's online through the ticket.
Eventbrite.
Eventbrite, there you go. Got it.
In-person, early voting starts next Tuesday. So, yeah, if anybody's interested, till the Friday before the election, which is the 31st, I believe.
So Tuesday, the 21st
Yeah,
through
through
the
31st.
31st.
Yeah, in-person voting.
There you go. All right, anything else?
Cool, motion to adjourn.
That's a second.
Charlie Cool, second by Pets to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
You got snow or still rain?
You did.
Snow?
Way to go.
Snow?
Yep.
All right, you enjoy that. Thanks, Charlie. Bye.
Yeah, they're supposed to be 10 inches.
Yeah, you want to just email her tomorrow, just.
Yes. Oh, leave, I'm leaving.
Yeah, that's what I had on